Biscuits are a simple and tasty comfort food that anyone can make. I know this because even I made them, or a version of them, back in my college days. Why? Because if you were to not worry about silly things like biscuit cutters, sensible portions, or the exact flavor, a whole nice, great big homemade biscuit is the perfect thing to just sit in your stomach all day long and give you that nice full feeling. Seriously, the stuff we made back then, it was just a matter of throwing the ingredients into a bowl, mixing it up, plopping down vaguely equal portions onto a baking sheet, and hoping for the best. And it usually worked. Which is to say, it usually baked all the way through, which in college, that's probably good enough. And let's face it, biscuits are really just a delivery device for things like jam, honey butter, and gravy, which we'll be going over in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. For now, though, we are going to stick to the book and see how the Good Eats Southern Biscuit version stacks up against the college-age Andy Anywhere Biscuit version, and see what we come up with. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start with, we've got a couple of fats, some buttermilk, and 4 different white powders, all of which are completely legal. All of which are completely legal? Really? Hilarious. Okay, in my defense, this is only the 3rd episode, and for now, unscripted is going to mean unfunny for at least a little while longer. And in the hardware, we'll get started with all the dry stuff. Okay, so flour, salt, one of the other powders, and the last of the other powders. I honestly couldn't remember which was which. Luckily, it doesn't really matter. Okay, we're just whisking this in. I guess that's good enough. Just enough to bring the fat to the party. So we got one kind of fat and the second kind of fat. We'll bring that together with these. We are looking for a nice little crumbly mixture of some kind. We'll see how this goes. Wonder if a potato masher would be just as good on this. At least to get it started. Okay, so I think we've reached coarse crumble level. So next step is to add the fat. Make a little well in the middle here. Might be packing that too hard. And add the fat. And by more fat, I of course mean liquid fat, buttermilk. On the show, Mr. Brown went on and on about the wonders and joys of buttermilk. But to be honest, anytime I've made biscuits in the past, I just never thought that plain milk was bad by any stretch. It's just easier to go with what we had. Does buttermilk really matter all that much? Well, we're doing it by the book this episode, so guess we'll find out. And get to stirring with the, well, it's a rice spatula thing, but I really like it. Question whether or not this actually has enough liquid. We'll find out. Next step, knead in the bowl. Bring this sucker together. Yeah, now who's going to operate the camera with this all in my hands? Just because I don't want to miss anything. Let's get that all off of there. Though it's possible I may be just a little too worried about what amounts to some dried flour and milk on the side of a bowl. On to the dough ball. Alright. We have a dough ball. We have a pretty clean surface. We have flour for that surface. just make nice flat dough ball. That doesn't make sense. Just want to make a nice flat round. It says just fold over on itself for 30 seconds. You know, this will be quality TV. Okay, I'm not really gonna sit here and make you watch me knead dough for 30 seconds. I mean, quality YouTube entertainment right there, right? We're making a very small round, but a very thick round. What we're supposed to be looking for here is a 1-inch thick round of dough. I'm just not seeing how this is supposed to give me a dozen biscuits like it says it will in the recipe. It's not at an inch thick. But, so this is kind of fun. At the time I didn't actually have a biscuit cutter or, and this is the important part, the desire to go out and buy one just for this episode. So, in the spirit of good eats, I decided to just lop the top of a plastic cup and declare it well and good. So here we go, let's see how this works. Oh, let's get pan. It's around 3 inches and that's what it calls for. So we'll say close enough. Straight down, twist, and we have a biscuit. Maybe not the roundest biscuits, but still biscuits. You would look at these and you would say, that's a biscuit. You might not say it's a very pretty biscuit, but now who's judging on appearances? All right, roll this up and try again. Okay, last thing is press down in the middle of each one. I think my dough is a little too doughy, especially that guy. Yeah, you, and you, and you. Into the oven. Try to not worry about it. We'll start at 15 minutes. All right, let's check them out. All right, we have biscuits and a couple of mutants. But all in all, they look pretty good. Now the final step is to turn them out into a kitchen towel lined basket. I have no baskets. And I wouldn't want to turn them out into these kitchen towels, so hang on. Stylish. Gonna work. No, I'm not putting the biscuits in there. We'll put the biscuits on napkins. It's valid. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. This is gonna be something you'll want to eat. It might be something I want to eat. It's coming together now. All right, now I might actually have to go buy kitchen towels. Anyway, okay. And it's gonna be fine. Yeah. It's valid. Okay, we have achieved biscuit. We got our butter. and a little bit of honey. And the verdict is they're really good. They're really good. I mean, they're flaky. They're a little dry. Yes, biscuits dry, but I think they're drier than they're supposed to be. But that could be because I'm too used to McDonald's breakfast biscuits. Still, these are definitely good. Definitely usable, but I think actually they would go really good with something else. And there you have it. Leftover potato soup from last episode, today's biscuits, and now you've got a meal. Because you can always dip bread in soup. That's good. That is excellent. Okay, so the only noticeable differences between the shortcake and the biscuits we just did are half and half instead of buttermilk, and about yay much sugar, and a hotter oven. So let's get to it. Okay, so it's just to stir until a sticky dough forms, and well, it's sticky. I don't know, I guess I was expecting from that description for it to be a little bit more watery, but you know what? We're gonna call this good. Pretty sticky. So, and this is one of those things that us untrained and wannabe cooks really just have to make assumptions about. Because until you actually make something a few times, you really don't know how sticky is sticky enough, or how lumpy, or how doughy, or how viscous or not something should be. Yeah, just says 8 blobs, so blobs it is. 8 of them. Whoa. And there you have 8 blobs of completely equal size. Butter, sugar. That's a bit much, maybe. And then into the oven. Okay, well, it started smelling, well, I smelled cooking, but it's not the kind of cooking we want. A little while ago. But I decided to go ahead and leave it in to cook the whole thing, hoping to make sure we cook all the centers. And I did check, and it's not pretty. But it's not horrible. It just has character. All right, back in the basket. Well, I'm not gonna show you the bottom of these poor shortcake scone things, whatever they are, because I really don't know what they are anymore technically when they look like that. But I find if you put enough ice cream and whipped cream on it, you can hide the vast majority of it. So, well, we'll give it a go. It's probably not supposed to crunch quite that much. Now, well, let's look inside. Well, the inside is properly done. And the inside tastes pretty good. But I don't think I can call this a success. And it definitely was not a success. Even with the addition of the added sugary substances, it just wasn't worth actually eating. Still, I'm not sure exactly what to blame here. Should I have pulled it the minute I smelled something a little iffy? Or was it just that the sugar and butter decided to burn for some unknown reason? I just don't know. I do know, however, that since filming this episode, I have actually made the biscuits again on several occasions, and I haven't even thought about making the shortcake / scone thing again at all. But again, that's probably as much due to my flub as it was to anything intrinsically wrong with the recipe. Probably. Anyway, what it does mean is that I am going to mark the biscuits as a success. And we are definitely going to put them higher than the tofu pie and probably over here, in the vicinity of the potato soup. The shortcake thing, though, is a little bit harder to judge. I'm going to have to put it a little bit lower on the tastiness scale, of course, but it's also going to definitely have to be on the I flubbed up scale a little bit more too. So I'd say around here for that poor thing. But we're getting there. So that's it for today, though. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. And for all of those who have already subscribed, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And come back again next time as I work my way through every good eats recipe ever.